Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm your host, Kevin Bogdaney, for this episode of Better Together Coffee and the Sunrise. I do have the legit stuff today. And it is not decaffeinated, it is high octane because we'll see if it'll help today. Maybe give me a little boost of energy. Um, so, the latest and greatest since we last talked, and that was actually Easter Sunday. Today is Tuesday, April the something, 5th or 6th. Um, but I always like to start out with praises. Praise, I woke up above ground, a breath in my lungs. Um, um, and right now I just got up, man. I just got up and got dressed, walked the dog, and I'm done. I'm just so flippin' tired, man. And I didn't sleep last night. I was up and down all night. Um, praise the boys. Katie had to go back home and check on her house and stuff. So she left late last night, and I think she's already on the road coming back. Um, Poor thing. Um, but praise, she's got a interview today, job or phone interview. Uh, she's actually had a couple offers and stuff, but some of these jobs out there right now kind of sketch. So anyway, uh, not real sure about some of these jobs that are kind of floating around there on the interweb or whatever. But she has a legit job interview today, another job interview, phone interview. So praise for that. And man, Katie was just such a soldier. I went into work yesterday. Just gotta breathe. And I'm an early riser, and so I was at work at 7 o'clock in Matthews, which is I'm about 35 minutes from Charlotte. Matthews is probably another 15 past that. But there's a back way that I can go. It takes me 45 minutes to get there in the morning. And then coming home is closer to an hour. But, I've told people 100 times, I love where I live. I wouldn't change that for the world. And I love where I work. The ride is just something I got to deal with. But with that being said, I was able to, glory to God, get up and go in yesterday. I had a list of things that I wanted to tackle, and none of it happened because I was glad to see everybody, but then we needed to have some meetings about some things moving forward because my boss kind of made a good point, and like I said, they're being tremendously supportive people, um, but he wanted to put some things in place because he said, John, you glory to God, it's been good for you so far. I mean, yeah, I'm dealing with some stuff, but uh, he said I anticipate it may get a little worse before it gets better. He said so. Let's just. He wants to have things in place so that if I don't feel good, I don't need to feel like I have to get up and work. And I get that. I'm kind of one of those old school dudes, though, man, that I really like to be in the loop. I like to bellyache about being in the loop. Oh my God, they won't leave me alone, blah, 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 blah. And, but at the same token, if they don't call me, I'm like, why didn't they call me? I don't understand it. So, yeah, that's who I am, dude. I talk out of both sides of my mouth all the time. Um, so, so I get it. So we've got some things in place, and everybody that is kind of stepping up and helping me, I've got the absolute most faith in the world. And the truth is, this job will Cadillac with or without me because of the team I've got. So anyway, there was a big praise. Ended up in meetings and kind of developing a contingency plan a little bit, for the next 5 months or maybe 4.5. I don't know how many months it is. We're in April, the beginning of April, May, June, July. I'm thinking the end of July I should be done with chemo, and so maybe the month of August I can get back to going. I don't know, full time, whatever. Or we look at doing more chemo and something else. I don't know. But anyway, so praise for a day at work yesterday. Praise for when I got home. So another praise. I told you guys me and my wife had to move downstairs because I can still do stairs, but if I don't have to, sometimes that's a good thing, because everything just I get so winded so fast, and so we moved our bedroom downstairs to the sunroom. Well, it doesn't have a closet, so my dad has been gracious enough to he's going to come build me that closet. Yesterday, so when I got home from work yesterday, he hit me up and he goes, "Yeah, if you can have those materials, we're going to try to get there early." And I was like, "Okay." So me and Katie got in the truck. Katie, we drove up to Lowe's. Katie pretty much loaded everything um, and on the cart in Lowe's. Then we paid for it. Then she unloaded on the truck. And then we brought it home. She unloaded it back there. But man, she's just a hard-working little gal, man. I love her so much. But anyway, so we got all the wood here. So my dad left 2.5 hours away. He said he was going to be here around 8, which he's 5 minutes late. He's going to have to work on that. But no, so for him, man, that's ooh-wee. He was on the road, I guess 5:30 or something. So anyway, he'd probably be here about any time. But so praise on that. Hopefully we'll get our closet today. It was an expensive closet. So me and Leah talked about that because she's like, "Look, dude, I know people are coming to help, and we appreciate the help, but, you know, we got to watch this money because, you know, it is what it is. Because I got diagnosed with cancer, we don't have, I mean, that don't mean I'm rich or nothing, you know what I'm saying? We still the same people we were before. Even though people are offering to help with these things, we still don't have the money to do these things, right?" So anyway, that closet, and I have already gotten the money, and people have blessed me with some money, and so if it wasn't for that, there's some things that we couldn't have done. Somebody gave us the money to help us with that fence we were talking about for my daughter's dogs and such. So that was very kind, and that got all the fence posts and the concrete and all that. And I think we got some money for the fence fabric, so we'll be able to finish up the fence and the gate and the closet, and then I'm gonna have to, you know, save a little bit of money for a minute, and then we'll go after the next thing. But praises that it's all come together thus far, because, you know, I told you guys, God has done nothing but bless me through this, and I'm so grateful. So that's a praise. The boys came up. So when Katie went home, the boys came up, and that's the other praise, is that I don't think I've been alone maybe a day or two during this whole thing. There has been somebody. The kids have all been able to still work. The boys have both been able to work and work it out to where, like, Austin talked to his boss and he's got an adjusted schedule. He's still getting 40 hours, but it gives him, they're giving him 3 days off, so he's working like 4 10s, so he can come up and help. And then Brandon's obviously wins or runs, doing anything Brandon needs him to do to work with him, but he's still getting his time, so that's a blessing. And like I said, Katie's just moving up here and getting a job and all that. So I've got plenty of support, and I really do appreciate everybody's support. The birds are out, the sun. It's going to be a beautiful day today. It's going to be a busy day here at City Coop Farm. And when my dad gets here, him and his buddy Emery, they're going to knock out that closet for us, and they won't play. They'll be after it. The boys may or may not sleep through, because I know for a fact I got up several times last night and the boys were still up talking and stuff, and so it's probably like 4 o'clock before they went to bed. And like I said, I know that because I didn't go to bed either. But it's weird because I lay in the bed and I try to go to sleep, but my head's just dee-dee-dee-dee. So anyway, that's kind of what we got going on. Going back to work tomorrow morning. And I got to do a couple things today with work. I got to start keeping a better to-do list to make sure that I'm dotting the I on these things, because my boss isn't asking for much. And I'm so scattered right now because, and I know you probably think, a lot of people are like, well, it's just an excuse. But man, this chemo is doing stuff to me that I would have never guessed in a billion years. And my kids will tell you that my memory was pitiful before I got diagnosed with cancer. But since I've been on this chemo, man, I literally can't remember nothing. Um, I got a new debit card because before I got diagnosed, I locked myself out of my card because I put the wrong PIN number in. And so then the bank sent me a new card in the mail. And when I got the card, it was in the midst of, me being diagnosed and everything. I don't even remember getting the card, and I darn sure don't remember setting the PIN. So I had a brand new card with a PIN, and I almost locked myself out with it again. But this time I would try it one time. So I tried it one time at the gas station. It said no. I said, but that ain't the PIN. Then I tried it a different time later. That ain't the PIN. And I was like, Leah, Katie, I only have so many 4-digit codes that I use. Why would I not have picked one of these two when I set up this new card? And so anyway, we figured it out. And Katie were, working at the bank, or I'm not going to try and get her in trouble or nothing, but let's just say that she was able to reach out to some people, and she got all my pins the same number. And so now we just got to remember one freaking number, man, one 4-digit number, and I'll be okay for a while. But then I found out yesterday that the new card was linked to the old business account in South Carolina. And so I told Leah, I said, Leah, I swear I've been using this card, man. There ain't no money coming out of nothing. Well, it's coming out of their account. I don't even know how they did that. The banker even told my partner in South Carolina, he's like, we don't know how that happened. We're sorry. We'll try to figure it out and fix it. So now I don't have any idea how much money I owe him. But we'll get it all figured out. But man, that's the life of, I did, like in the week, this weekend, I showed Leah my hands were just doing this. And everybody at work's like, oh, you ain't had no coffee, whatever it be. Nah, I know the coffee stuff, but this is straight up bizarre stuff. There's times when like my vision will come and go. There's times when I get, that whole like slow motion, I don't know what they call that, but anyway. And the big one is the headache still. I still have headaches a lot, but just fatigue, beat down fatigue. And sometimes, man, I would talk to somebody till I was blue in the face. I love to talk. I love to be connecting with people. Growing up an only child, I kind of missed a lot of that. And now, sometimes, man, I'm just too tired to talk. It's the most bizarre thing. I'll be sitting in the living room, and I'm too tired to get up and move or go do anything. And I'll just sit there, like Benji, and just stare at stuff. I'm sitting there thinking, this is what Benji does all day, every day. And he's fine with it. It drives me nuts. But yeah, I'll just sit there. I'm too tired to get up, too tired to move. Because if I get into a certain situation where, there ain't no, because sometimes I do have like shooting pain, the fire in my belly. And if I can get that to where it's not hurting, and I'll just kind of sit there and I'm like, all right, I'm comfortable. We're going to just chill here for a minute. And then I'm too tired to move anyway. And then I'm like, okay, but I can't sleep. I can't nap or none of that. So anyway, it's enough of me belly aching. So that's what we got going on. So we're praising God that we are above ground. We got breath in our lungs. A lot of people coming by and caring. And work is continuing to be just absolute saints through all this. And it was good to get in yesterday. I had most of the people at work were cool about it, kept their distance. We're like, oh no, man, we love you. We're so glad to see you. And we knuckled up. There was this one freak, one bizarre weirdo that is our IT site manager that had to bring it in for a freaking hug. I'm pretty sure he probably took it beyond. I was grappled. I was just, what do you call it? I'm having trouble remembering the word, but I was fondled in a roundabout way. And I'm probably going to call somebody at work and tell them about it. But no, I was glad to see that dude. I hadn't seen him in a while. He and I had reached out. It was just I was busy. He was busy. We were trying to connect real hard, but it just kept. It was one of those. It was crashing and burning. But it was good to see him, and I could tell that we missed one another. So that was good, even though he is really weird and very bizarre. Um, so yeah, so we'll go back to work tomorrow for a half a day, and then I think I got something tomorrow afternoon. Um, and then I think some weather's coming in Thursday, but um, this Friday, I think I told you guys. So, this guy was on my top 5 mentors, man. My dad, um, Leah's grandfather, um, and Joe, Joe and her aunt Bert, because they're just so much more than an aunt and uncle to Leah. So anyway, and we had gone up there a couple years ago, right after I went to work at Windsor. Actually, he lives in a retirement community in Pennsylvania, and he moved in there, I think, before I went to work at Windsor, or right after, or something, whatever it be. But anyway, it's very similar retirement community. I was actually able to take a tour of their CC that had just opened, and it looked very similar to what we were going to be building here at Windsor. And kind of met Joe, and they have the VRV Daikin's like we do. But, it's a nice community, but it ain't Erickson. I'm going to tell you that right now. I saw a lot of things where it was missing the mark. But, and the one big difference I saw, to me, that was a big deal, they did not have 24-hour security that were EMS certified or EMT certified. And to me, that's a big deal for me in a retirement community at Windsor. I mean, that's just an absolute peace of mind, man, that you have got certified help available to you all day, every minute. They had a maintenance staff too, but they weren't, like we were. They're not in there all day, every day. They had, like a satellite somewhere, and I forget what they call that. Oh man, I know the name of it. But anyway, their maintenance was not like ours, where it was just boom, right there, phone call, and then 24-hour on call. Anyway, but it was a nice community. We enjoyed going up there and visiting with them. We're going back this weekend. We're going to try and drive up there because, unfortunately, he's in probably a worse place than I am right now. And he had been doing chemo. He'd been fighting cancer for a very long time, and he had been doing chemo, and they have decided that it's no longer being effective for him, and I think they're going to stop treatments and this and that, and Leah feels like we need to go. And so I'm down for a ride. That's all we're going to do. I can be tired on that couch, or I can be tired riding up to Pennsylvania with my wife. And one of the things I think I said in one of the first videos, going back to this song, Better Together, he says, a cup of coffee and a sunrise, or whatever, it's Sunday drives and time to kill. That is something when Leah and I first got married, we didn't have no money, none. So we would, and back then gas was like $1 a gallon. So you could put $5 in the car and you could drive all day long. So we used to get in there and just listen to music and hold each other's hand and ride around and we'd go down roads we'd never been on. This is before GPS. So you had to figure your way back out of there and home. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the road trip, man. Even if if Bert and Joe say, hey, we don't feel comfortable, with Kevin and Joe together or whatever it be. I don't know that that'll be the case, but I'll stay right there in the hotel room and let Leah go visit with her uncle, and I'll text her if I need her. But this road trip, man, I'm looking forward to it a lot. Anyway, so praise for that, and y'all be praying for Joe and Bert as he And I'm gonna tell you right now, if anybody's ready to meet the maker, it's Joe. So I don't have any. You know, a lot of times the people that are going through this stuff, like I told you, man, aren't the ones that are going to carry the burden. I want to pray for for Joe and his pain, obviously, but also for the family that gets left behind. Uh, they're the ones that are probably going to struggle more than those who have come to terms with it and are sometimes grateful that it is them and not others that are going through this. But anyway, you know, it's the ones left behind that are gonna wear this the hardest. So I definitely want to pray for Bert and all of Joe's kids and his family, because he is a tremendous guy to lose, and we ain't losing him. But I mean, eventually we got to go. We all got to go, including Joe. But man, boy, I tell you what, when he gets up to heaven, my goodness, the reunions he's gonna have with people that have gone before him, it's gonna be some powerful stuff, man. He's got more people over there than he does here now, probably. But anyway, I don't want to bog you guys down with a bunch of stuff. I do want to give a couple shout outs, man. Actually, I'm gonna give one shout. I think I did give a shout out. I'm gonna say hey to Terry Atkins. I know Terry Atkins is watching this video. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might be a month from now, or it might be the minute Jimmy posted. But thank you, Terry. Terry was our life group leader for a long time. I love her dearly, me and Leah both. I know she's been communicating with Leah, and I know she had a big Easter weekend because I'm watching her on the Facebook. But anyway, just thank you for always being there. It's pretty stout when you got friends and family that you know's always got your back. So I want to talk a little bit because it's unlike my dad to be late, but he is 74 years old, so getting up at 5:30 might not have been a good idea. Or it might be to Emery, his buddy, and they are thick as thieves. Maybe it wasn't in the cards for him, you know, because sometimes guys got to take medication at certain times and you got to do certain little regimes. But whatever the case be, and they maybe just stop for breakfast. Oh, let me tell you, I'm going to call Austin out real quick. Me and Katie had so much fun with him yesterday. So Austin hits me up, and I'm like, I'm leaving work, I'm done, and I was tired, people. That half a day, I got in there, like I said, a little bit before 7, and I think I left at 12:30. It felt like I had worked a week. But anyway, Austin hits me up at 12. Now, he's coming an hour and a half from Columbia. He goes, hey, I'm leaving Columbia now, 12 o'clock. I drive home. I hit him up. I get home, and it's whatever time it is, 1:30. And I said, hey, I'm at the house. My dad's coming up tomorrow. I got to go, me and Katie got to go load some wood. I'll go to the York Lowe's, so I'm going back towards him. And I said, maybe you can meet us there and help Katie load this wood. I said, because Katie ain't gonna let me touch nothing, and you know, we don't like Aston Lowe's because they got so many other people that need their help far more than we do. And that was the case. When we got there, they had a line all the way down the drive there with people getting ready, waiting on Lowe's to load up stuff. And he goes, well, I stopped and got lunch, so I'm still a good little ways from Rock Hill or York. I was like, all right, well, we're going to go that way anyway, and we're going to do what we can do, and maybe you get there in time, and maybe you don't. I don't know. We'll see. So we load up. We go that way. Katie loads everything like a freaking warrior, man. And we get in the truck, and he's like, yeah, I'm still not even to Rock Hill. We're like, all right, well, we heading back to the house. Anyway, long story short, we get back home. Katie unloads everything. We park the truck. We go in the house, and it's like 3:30, almost 4 o'clock. And I'm like, Katie looks at me, she goes, where did he eat? Where did he stop and eat? That it's taken 4 hours to get from Columbia. And so he pulls up, he comes in the house, and I'm like, hey, bud, everything all right with that ride? Yeah, it was all right, it's a good ride. I said, what you got there in your hand? That's an Arby's bag. He goes, yeah, I stopped and got Arby's. I'm like, wait a minute. So it took you 4 hours and you hit the Arby's drive-through is what you did for lunch? Hey, this story's full of holes, dude. Me and Katie, so you know us, right? We ain't gonna let it go. We start digging. And we got some more digging to do into that day. Me and Katie ain't gonna let that go. But Katie, yeah, that girl looks out for them boys, man. She's all in their business. But you know, here, that's not snooping. That's family love. That's what you call, yeah, when you digging into your family's business, that's what you're supposed to do. We got to keep each other accountable. We got to keep an eye on each other. But yeah, Katie made a few unwelcome comments about the 4-hour ride from Columbia yesterday. I hope Austin's able to get home a little quicker because I know he's got stuff to do when he gets home. Anyway, so I had kind of shared, I went into a little bit of the, when we last talked about Judas. And I remember the little thing I had seen on Facebook, and I kind of read the story of how Judas betrayed Jesus, and kind of talked about some deep stuff there and some not so deep stuff there. But I continued to kind of think about that a little bit over the last couple of days, about how Jesus prayed for Judah, Jesus washed Judah's feet, Jesus fed Judah. You know, the whole point behind, Judah was a part of this discipleship, and Jesus knew that he was sitting there washing the man's feet, and the man was going to turn him over to him for the worst punishment ever known. I'm going to say ever known to man. I don't know. Maybe there's some other martyrs and other, maybe there's been deaths that have been more painful than that. I don't know how. I mean, when you get to that level of pain and endurance, it just seems like, best case, they all equal each other. I don't know that you could ever really, it just seems like immense pain is immense pain, but I don't know. But it was a horrible death. And he knew that Judas was going to hand him over to him, but yet he still loved him to death, man. That's just an astonishing story to me. But I talked about that on Easter, and I kind of made a couple other notes and got some other things that I want to, when I have time, to kind of dig into a little bit. And I'm going to tell y'all some of the things. I'm going to go ahead and give y'all what do you call that, like a teaser. This is a teaser. These are just some things that are on my heart that I want to dig into. Hadn't give up on a way to share a link, Jimmy. I know you've been funning it up, Disney and freaking Grand Canyon and all this, and Jimmy didn't invite me to Grand Canyon either, for the record. Just saying, I'm not upset about it. I love Jimmy dearly. There's nothing but love in my heart. That's all I got time for anymore, people, is love. I don't have time for the anger and the pride and the jealousy and all that. So I'm not jealous of Jimmy, that he's off having all this good fun and stuff like that with his family. I'm not jealous. I'm happy for Jimmy. But anyway, so me and Jimmy still thinking about how we can ask some questions or something. Maybe I do a email, bettertogether@gmail.com, and then we'll just kind of take those questions or something. And I'm not going to try and just give you guys my best guess or whatever. I'm going to do some research and get back to you with what I feel in my heart. And my conscience and Jesus put that in my heart, right? We'll talk about that too. But anyway, I'll get back. Maybe me and Jimmy will work through some, and then I'll even rope in my Tennessee mentor, Trav, because so I'll get some really scholarly biblical men involved with you, getting you guys some good answers on this stuff. And I don't care. Ask me the hard questions. I challenge you to ask me the hard questions. So anyway, we'll figure that out. I do want to plagiarize Jimmy's audacious faith story. Absolutely 100% plagiarize that. Put my own, I'll change like 3 words in it and then just take it away from Jimmy. It'll be my big faith story. Psalm 23, I want to get into that one. That's probably going to be an emotional day for me because that was my mama's favorite verse. And I've read it many, many times over the last couple weeks. I just see so many similarities. Like when I went to do chemo, I wore my mama's Clemson hat, and I wear my mama's jacket. The other day I was drying off because I got some of my mama's towels when she passed, And so help me, I have washed this towel 100 times in the last 4 years, and it still smells like my mama. And I draw off of that one. That's my favorite towel. So anyway, there's just a lot of things as I'm going through my walk that she's walking it with me, even though she's not physically here. She's guiding me through this thing, so that's pretty tremendous. That's pretty awesome. And I want to get back to talking about God's plan. I talked about that my 2-lane highway, God's 2-lane highway, that super freeway, when our highways blend together. And what do they call it? Merge. When our highways merge together, I want to talk about God's plan and God's merging. Our conscience. I want to talk a little bit about that, because when I was a absolute atheist, the thing that finally brought me to the Lord, and I know you guys are going to think, Dad, it was Dad? I just saw somebody walk. Is that somebody or so? Oh yeah, there's a couple people out there walking on my property. Why in the earth do I have a plethora of gentlemen's? Oh, I'm gonna tell you what's happening. That piece of property next to me sold, and like I told you, I'm looking forward to having them for neighbors. These guys probably fixing to pull a perk on my land. I'll deal with that in a minute. Y'all are more important than me right now. But I'm gonna talk about our conscience. I got another song that I want to dig into with you. I did the Judas 8:2, and then I want to talk about the disciples. I want to dig into the disciples a little bit. Peter's denial, and a couple other things. So that's a little synopsis of what we got going on. But today, I didn't want to let Easter come and go. Jimmy, by the way, mad props to Jimmy. Jimmy brought a very propelling argument for Easter. Man, that sun's killing me, people. Let's do this real quick. Let me cut to camera 2. Can you guys, let's go to camera 2. Finish this thing up real quick. Yeah, good job, guys. Yeah, did check camera 1. We'll go to camera 2. But Jimmy brought a really propelling argument this Easter Sunday, and I love it because Jimmy, being valedictorian back in the day, he's a smart guy, and he's always able to kind of look at things the way I'm looking at them. There's a couple times I think Jimmy was talking to me, but I ain't mad at him. He always does that, you know what I mean? Yeah, and the Bible says you need to do this, 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 and this. He's basically saying Kevin needs to do this, 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 and this. I'm all right with it, though. I'm all right. We got to be accountable. But yeah, he did a great job on his Easter sermon. And I want to kind of dig a little bit into, not necessarily what Jimmy said or any of that, but I had told you guys that I got this letter from my cousin. And the minute I saw the handwriting, I was like, oh, dude, I remember when we were little and she'd write me all the time. She had this thing right here, and there's the note from her right there, where she wrote me a little personal note. But she has had this in her Bible. And we used to do fill-ins at River Springs. I don't know if Jimmy might be still doing fill-ins. If he is, man, Jimmy, come on, dude. Fill-ins still? It's been 30 years of fill-ins, bro. But anyway, so this was something that she did in her church. And I think I figured it out from looking at the paper and all. Yeah, this was back in 1998. But this message resonated with her. It's got her fill-ins and stuff. And but she said she had gone to read this she had a lot of burdens and trials throughout her life, and this would always give her peace. So she wanted to send it to me. She wanted me to have it. And so I wanted to kind of share it with you guys today. But it's just a letter. And she said, I'm going to share her note. I hope she doesn't get mad. But these notes over the years, these notes are years old, but I keep them in my Bible for days I need to remember. And I want you to have them. And I apologize for the coffee stains, which I'm going to tell you right now, man. I love the coffee stains. I used to fuss at my maintenance guys because I swear to you, they would turn in their documentation at DOC. And everything they turned into me was just covered in coffee stains. I'm like, can you guys wait and do your paperwork after you finish your coffee? Please, just send me one freaking paper that is not covered in coffee stains. I think they dip it in it just to send it to me. Oh, this drives him nuts. Here you go, mail that on up to Bog Danny. But So anyway, I love it. I love the coffee stains. But anyway, this is actually where Jesus appears to Mary Magdalene was the message, John 20, 1 through 18. But there was a letter at the back, and this is what I wanted to share. And I'm going to try and get it through this without being emotional. With 34 minutes, I like to try to keep it worst case scenario 40. So I'm going to read this within 5 minutes. It says, Dear risen Lord, how hard it is to see clearly when devastating circumstances bring me to a tomb of grief and fill my eyes with tear. How blurry everything gets. Even you get blurry, and the sound of your voice becomes strangely unfamiliar. Help me to blink away those tears to see that you are standing beside me, wanting to know why I am crying, wanting to know where it hurts, wanting to wipe away every tear from my eyes. Thank you, Jesus, for being there, for never leaving me or forsaking me, even in the darkest and chilliest hours of my life. From those circumstances that have shrouded my heart and entombed me, I pray that you would roll away that stone. It is too heavy, and I am too weak to roll it away myself. This letter just is absolutely speaking to me so much. Where there is doubt, roll away the stone and resurrect my faith. Where there is depression, cast aside the grave clothes and release my joy. Where there is despair, chase away the night and bring a sunshine to my hope. When in doubt, in my depression, in my despair, help me to continue to love you even though I don't understand you. And I rejoice that no matter how dark the Friday or cold the tomb, that with you as my risen Savior, there is always hope of Easter morning. There is always hope of an empty tomb. Amen. And I just thought that really just kind of tied in with everything that I'm going through, everything that Jimmy brought that propelling sermon about Sunday. I mean, in Jimmy's sermon, he just kind of spoke to the fact that at the end of the day, the tomb was empty. We all have hope, no matter what our circumstances. Even if the hope is knowing, kind of like me and Joe, at the end of the day, there's another life. There's a better life. As much as I love each and every person in this life today, and I've said it before, I keep thinking I'm going to miss everybody. But then Pastor Tim talked in the years past about when you go to heaven, there is no sorrow. There is no sadness. So I was like, well, then, Pastor Tim, I kind of almost think that I won't have a memory of earth. Because if I pass to the other life and I know of the ones here that may not be able to join me, because some people don't believe in Jesus. Some people don't believe in afterlife. I would be sad that some of those people wouldn't join me. So I don't even know if I will remember this place and this earth. I just don't know. But I do know that tomb was empty. And I do know that I'm going to be fine. And that's why I kind of, really try to pray for the people left behind here that will be in mourning. Because I don't know that I will miss any of this. I mean, you would like to kind of think that you can remember, you know what I mean? But we don't know. But I do know that after heaven is an amazing place with no sorrow and no sadness. So anyway, just remember, guys, that just like Jimmy said Sunday, and just like that alludes to, at the end of the day, man, that tomb was empty. So, today, as you kind of go on, I'm right on time here. I got 2 minutes. I just want every one of you guys to remember that that tomb was empty. We do have hope, and that we are to love the Lord our God with all our heart and love your neighbor like you love yourself. And so as you go forward, people, do what you can today to help somebody through a really bad day. It's a beautiful day out. The birds are chirping. You hear the birds? Birds are chirping. The sun's coming out. And what did we do? We woke up above ground. We got breath in our lungs. No matter what kind of pain we're facing, we can take another deep breath and we can move forward and we can help the people around us. We can help the ones we love the most, and we can help the least of these. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. I thank you so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love you guys. And Terry, I'll holler at you soon. Y'all have a God bless you day. Have a great day, and God bless you. Love you.